Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Dash of .NET. I'm your host, Simon, and this is a very unique episode because we are not only uh, today streaming to the C Sharp Corner viewers, but if you're joining us from uh, the user group, that is Zurich user group, uh, welcome everyone. Really nice to have you. In this episode, we're going to talk about unleashing GenAI in .NET with Semantic Kernel, and to talk about that, we have a very good friend of us. He is Jose Luis. I'm going to just take his first two names. I mess up with the last name. He's a Microsoft MVP. He runs his own community chapters, and he is a speaker at many of the conferences. So without any further ado, let's bring the expert in the live show. Hi, Jose. Welcome to the Dash.net.
Hey, Simon. Hello. How do you do?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
It's fantastic. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah, happy Friday. Other than the MVP awards that you have, but what are those characters that you have in your background that just took my attention? I'm so sorry.
Which ones?
The one that those are
The
next, the standing, yeah, over here.
this
The
one
next,
or
the other side, yeah.
yeah, these are some games I like playing when I have time, which is not too often. And these are some figures from some games. I like collector's editions from some games which I like. And
Wow,
yeah,
that's pretty
it's
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
One is from Horizon Zero Dawn. One to the left side, some people will know it's The Witcher. Fantastic game. I'm looking forward to the one that happens end of the year. I hope it goes out on time. And the other is one of my classics. Thing is Leo from Resident Evil. Yes.
That's
And
pretty
of
cool.
course, there is one that somebody like shooters. I would manage to advance a bit, but do not play that much lately. But yeah, that one is from Destiny.
That's pretty cool. I don't have any of these, but never mind. So, Jose, we are talking about Gen AI in .NET with semantic kernel. A lot of things ahead. Gen AI, we have then you're doing it in .NET. Then you also have semantic kernel.
Yeah,
So let's get started, right? So I'm gonna
sure.
add your screen to the stream. Everybody else can see it now.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's get it
So
rolling.
let's get it rolling. So let's go first. So some concepts, which I mean, we have more or less 30 minutes. So let's get started. Which are key. So I believe in concepts, and they are usually fundamental to understand what we are talking about. So let's go on. So this kind of is a 101 on semantic kernel, very fast, very quick. We're talking about orchestration. Orchestration, I would call it like a concert. It's a coordination of one or more models, like GPT or Llama or Phi 3 from Microsoft, and components of a generative AI framework working harmoniously to provide an optimal result for any kind of task, right? So you put things working together in a way that makes sense. That's AI orchestration. Very simple. And then we have, uh, I messed the order of the slides.
Yeah, but
You
still, it
have
looks pretty cool.
second, that was AI orchestration, the first definition. The second is plugins. Plugin is something that we can plug in and suddenly it gets magic powers. And the same happens for AI, right? Is a kind of a component. A plugin is a component that we can use it to provide additional capabilities to any model or agent. Um, I like to think, as you can see in the picture, like giving an instrument to an AI that, as a musician, it can play a tone with it, right? It's a tool like a hammer, like a screwdriver, or an API, basically. And then we have prompts, which we have to type. The first one is prompt function, which is basically encapsulating a prompt that we make for an AI. But we can use advanced templating and make very, very advanced things, but we will not enter there. But basically, you ask a question in a way, and you get a result. Which the result can be, you can tell it, "Hey, write me something in JSON," so a computer program can understand it. It does not need to be always a chat in human language. It can be something that a computer can understand. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Very nicely. So I like the relation that you have built it. with musics and all that. Pretty cool.
I like that. I think it's a powerful
Yeah.
metaphor, and usually people with this understands. I like also very much the way that John Maeda, which is now I think head of AI, he has ascended, but he was on the semantic kernel team, and
Hmm.
he has this metaphor also very nice about cooking, that you spice with different
Um,
components. And usually I watch his sessions, I end up hungry, which is, oh my God, he's really good. He's amazing speakers.
all
But
right.
let's go. We have native functions. And native means native. I should explain that, which probably from the point of view of a programmer, what is native is coding, right? So it enables you to get an AI to execute your code or part of your code, right? And you can do anything, like manage a file system, manage your computer if you want, if you're there, use an API, search the internet, or even order a pizza. Anything is possible.
Wow, cool.
So it's like giving an AI tools for doing whatever. Of course, there's limitations, but limitations are every month like being reduced. Let's move on. We have more concepts. We have planners. Planner is something that enables an AI or a model to decide the plan of action. That what should it do, right? This can be a multi-step plan or just the next step. An example of it is function calling, which appeared in OpenAI in about June 2023. So it's more or
Hmm.
less 1 year. Happy birthday, function
Yeah, things
calling.
are moving fast.
Yes, it's crazy. So then we have personas. Personas, I think we have some comments. Hi guys, Rodrigo Diaz Concha. Hey, Rodrigo.
Oh, Rodrigo, oh, I miss him. Do you know
Yes,
we,
me
we
too.
used to run a show for Rodrigo on C Sharp TV, right? He did
You
an
should
entire
get
thing with
him.
this. Yeah,
I'm from Mexico.
I
Yeah,
miss
best food
him. He was
ever.
there in India.
I love Mexican food. India food as well. It's
Oh, yeah.
also, but not that spicy. I probably cannot eat as much spice as you. Oh my God, I'm getting hungry. I'm on a diet. Maybe it's obvious, but yeah. So let's move on. A persona is a predefined character, a personality with traits. Hmm? So these will affect the way the model is reacting, is planning and thinking when it will change completely. So, for example, I'm very analytical person. If you put my personality or more or less write it down, if it is possible, in a model, you will have that model think and ask information over and over again. I like to analyze things. But for example, my boss is not. He likes action. He likes, hey, get it done, Jose. So yeah, so it's very different. So he will start coding and create something, try that out, see if it works. So it affects the way we do things. And then we have agents. Agents is a tricky thing to explain. So I'll give you first my explanation, and then the one another explanation, and then the explanation of the semantic kernel team, which is a bit different. So to me, an agent is an entity. An entity can be a software, a unit of something, something that stands on its own, that can perform tasks autonomously, use tools to do so, plugins, and he has a personality, persona, as well as the ability to plan tasks. He has a planner. Usually it's function calling, the one I explained. In short, they can interact with the environment that they are given access to, know that, and also they can plan a course of action, decide and act with or without human guidance. That's basically my description. Other people say agent is a software that performs tasks on behalf of a user. They can automate processes, make decisions, and intelligently interact with their environment, which I disagree, right?
Hmm.
So it can perform tasks in behalf of another agent as well. So that's the main difference. And they can automate processes. Yeah, they can do anything if given the proper tools. So basically, I think the description, the first one is better. I put a lot of care. I reread it like I don't know how much time, but well. Then from the perspective of the semantic kernel team, an agent is a modular abstraction that can possess a persona, perform actions in response to user input, and can easily communicate with other agents, which I again disagree because you don't need user input for an agent. It can be automated input from an API. So it can react autonomously, can react in a conversation. Anyone or anything can be the trigger. So clear?
Yeah, very clear. And I see these images next to in your slide. These are also generated by AI, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. These
Yeah.
are some images that I did for the course,
Mm-hmm.
but I was not. Well, I did a course for Semantic Kernel. I can
We did.
share the link later. Yes, but hmm, yeah, the problem is they don't allow AI made images, so they had to change all of them. It took me a while. I really like the
Makes
function
sense.
calling one because it's kind of at the end, it's kind of writing a magic spell that a computer can use. To me, it's very very amazing. This is the feeling of doing magic again
That's right.
when you are a software engineer because you can really extend. It's really extending, giving arms or musical instruments like the flautists of Hamelin, right? That can do whatever you want. It's pretty cool. Let's move on. So plugins. Without a plugin to assist, there are things it will not be able to do. Like, for example, knowing the current date. So if I do these and ask, hey, what are the most significant things that happened today 200 years ago, right? And it will tell, sorry, I have no clue. I cannot do that. But if I give a plugin with, okay, the date, yeah, it will tell you, right? So I would say that we can see that in action, right?
Yeah.
So I have here some code. You can see it. It's big enough.
Yeah, it is. It's visible. Yes.
Yeah. All right. I will not do into the details of how to do semantic kernel. The ABC of semantic kernel, I think you have 200 videos in LinkedIn and you have the documentation, sorry, in YouTube, and you have the documentation from the semantic kernel team. It's pretty good. They updated it like 1 day ago. So you basically add usings of Microsoft Semantic Kernel, chat completion, OpenAI, because we will use it. At the moment, it's quite a cool one. And you set your model, your Azure or OpenAI endpoint, and the key, right? And you create a builder that creates a kernel. This is one of the biggest or most important instances in semantic kernel. And then in this case, I will not import this plugin, and I'm simply creating a chat completion service, like opening a chat, the same that you do when you open the OpenAI chat, right? I'm doing that with code. I'm doing here some tool call behavior. So it does the tool calling for you, which is quite complex, and semantic kernel does it for you, which is pretty cool. And here I have a chat loop, right? That if I press exit, it will finish, and otherwise it executes get chat message content async that asks the LLM, the model I have, hey, give me a response. And then I print it, very simple. So if I play that, may have to drag and drop it here. Yes, let me see, it's good enough. I make it big. Hey, that happened.
So at this instance, there's no plugin, right?
Yeah, this has no plugin, so it will
Ah,
tell me, hey, sorry, I have no idea. What happened to 100? Oh, no.
oh, I did know. Pretty
Okay,
smart.
wait. No, I did something wrong. I'm not importing the plugin, so that should
Well,
not have happened unless the LLM has developed additional abilities.
well, that's scary, right?
Yeah, well, I usually like to understand why my code is working. So, uh, is what day is today? Okay, so
Ah,
I'm
yeah.
unable to provide real-time information. Uh, uh, So that's what should have happened before. Yeah. Oh no, you need to specify the current date. So it's providing an example. So I should tell him, hey, don't do that. So if I take this away, and for example, what it will do is it will import this, and this is a native function. So it's basically this. It's a class with a function that I have decorated with kernel function. You could read the documentation, but basically, yeah, no, sorry. And add a description, get the current UTC date. This is what tells, hey, LLM, you intelligent model, this is what this function is doing. And it will add to the kernel, and then the LLM can use it. How? It decides to do so. As cool as that. So if we execute it, now I'm importing, and if the gods of computer software wants to line, now it will give us a response. What date is today? Yeah, nice.
That
It
worked.
knows. So we are giving skills to the LLM, and it decides to use them mm, on his own, which is quite cool. All right. Now thinking 28 June
Yeah.
1824. Yeah, establishment, Bureau, Indian Affairs, Battle Junin, Beethoven in Symphony. Okay, well, but this not happen. Uh, yeah, he doesn't know exactly what happened that day, probably not too much. And he gives some things from that year, which still is cool, right? So it's more or less quite nice. So let's go back to the slides. So this, I think, shows a bit can what is the power that we have with plugins, and this can be adding a call to your API. I did an example that's
Mhm.
on the Semantic Kernel blog, which I show how to develop a plugin that interact with the Graph API, for example, with Microsoft Planner. So
That's pretty cool.
oh,
I love graph APIs. Those are pretty cool. Yeah.
I do too when they work.
Mm, yeah. So
Sometimes it,
here you are using Azure Open API, right? I did see in
yes,
the code.
this is
Yeah.
Azure. So I'm
Yeah.
using at the moment Azure. Sometimes it doesn't work. The
Yeah.
quota, don't know, says, hey, you don't have quota when I have, and yeah. So let's move on. I think a nice example is using Marvel Avengers. Can I use them? I'm showing them on the screen.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So for example, if you put a agent or LLM with a persona of Hulk, and you tell, hey, solve the problem at the power plant, Hulk would smash darkness,
I'm gonna spell
right?
it. Yeah.
Which probably is not the best solution. And you ask Thor, it will tell you, don't worry, with Mjolnir, I will restore light to the city. Yeah, if you manage to create a plugin that is called Mjolnir, maybe it can work, but good luck with that. And if you ask Tony Stark, yeah, well, he will probably try to use the arc reactor. Everything Iron Man or Tony Stark is around arc reactors, which sadly do not exist. But I think it would be better and more nicer approach. So with this, what I want to leave clear is that the person really affects the way they are using the tools they have and the way they will approach a problem, the same way as I do or my team lead is doing, right? Or the same that you approach a problem as well. All right. I mean, if you put here another personality, hey, you are very shy, you're afraid of challenges, probably the response would be, I go to a corner
Yeah.
and I will cry, which is not useful as well, right? But yeah, but I think it's fun. You are
Yeah.
adding a personality to a software program. I mean, how cool is this, right?
Yeah. That's pretty nice, right? You can talk to a cat owner.
Yeah, you can make your own friend. I'm joking, but it's true.
Yeah.
I hear that there's people making money selling time with virtual girlfriends.
Wow, really?
Yep, cool. Well,
I
cool. I don't
I
know.
like,
It's funny.
but I really like this idea of personas. Let's say I'm visiting a website that is for about for pets, right?
Yes.
And I have a chatbot that talks as if he is a dog or maybe a cat, right? That would be pretty cool. I don't mind getting an assistant like
Okay.
that, a chatbot.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how if you have a robot and you can put a personality in a robot. I mean, that would be something cool for. I don't know if you remember there was a robotic dog called Aibo. It was cancelled. It was relaunched by Sony, and then it was
Hmm.
cancelled again. But there's people that treasure these animals still.
Oh.
But if you could create them now with a nice personality and a wide range of woof 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 for a dog, that would be more fun.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So one thing I did is, oh yeah, that's a bit ahead of time, but I created something. This is for kind of a definition of an agent in YAML, right? But you can, for example, map a minion from the movie. Yeah, you want light-hearted, humorous conversation. Use a minion as language. Talk gibberish. Say a nonsense. Remember to be loyal to your master. Respond to the question. Some meta prompting, and yeah, that's basically it. And for personas, I put here, for example, how to do that. I think this part of code is a bit advanced, but basically I load the Minion agent. I read the contents of this path to the file, and then I create the Minion agent. The same way that I create the kernel, I create the agent builder. And I add, well, this is just for having the agents in a collection to clean them up. And then I enable a loop where I basically, aside from the banana and exit condition, I invoke asynchronously with a user message, and that's basically it. Oh yeah, I had animations. Sorry. Uh,
Now it
yeah.
works.
And for example, this is some code that I will show you in a moment. That's a person, that's me or you, and we can have this kind of conversation. Yeah. Uh, I'm on the dash of .NET with Simon. Oh, wow, dash of .NET sounds important. Maybe throw a joke or two. Wow, do programmers prefer dark mode? I do, because
I
like
kind of
attracts
do.
bugs, which is good. Keep the coding cool in the last coming. Thanks. Something to say to the audience. Oh, say hello, fantastic humans. Smile, keep it fun. Simon and amigo. Something you like to tell Simon and obviously Jose. So we can have these kind of conversations. And by the way,
Mm.
this is not a conversation that I'm inventing. It happened. I tried that a few days ago when I was preparing for this light talk. And yeah, um, but we will see that in a moment. But aside this, one important thing that I did not explain on the planners, which is how does function calling works, right? So for example, we have a conversation history that requires calling function because the LLM decides that, right? So the LLM says, oh, he asked for the date. Do I have something that can get me the date? He looks at the tools. He looks at, let me go back to here, to the what date is it? Get the current date. Oh, yeah, I have that because he registers that and he makes a request for the call, which comes back to my application in wherever I am executing it, in local, in the cloud, at the moment it's local, and say, hey, call this function and give me the result. So this comes here to my computer, asks for this to be executed. I execute it. Well, the computer, the software does, semantic kernel handles that, so we don't have to, and then sends the result back transparently. And then it goes on with the result. How does this happen? Because I create these execution settings and I tell that the tool call behavior is automatically invoke kernel functions, and the rest is done by semantic kernel. But this is just something that we can configure, but the automatic working is done by semantic kernel. That's another
Hmm.
thing. It may not work with other frameworks. And we are back to the slide. And we go back to agents. All right.
Yeah.
Any questions so far?
Not yet in the comments, but I'm curious, where does your function sits? I mean, where do you host this application? Like you just host like any other .NET application? Does that how it works?
No, I'm executing it completely local. It's a console
Hmm.
application.
Yeah, I see
It's
that.
invoking. It only has to have permissions to access uh, whatever LLM that I want. Either
Hmm.
it is Azure OpenAI or OpenAI. If I'm using that model, I could use other models, but then I would be limited because the agent API it's only available in OpenAPI at the moment, which is
Okay,
the one
makes
I'm
sense.
using for what I'm showing. Hmm.
Okay, okay, all right, that's interesting.
So let's show a bit about agents, and that the whole is
Banana, yeah,
cool,
that's my favorite
right?
food.
Yes, you like it. That's good.
Yeah, we
Uh,
both go to gym, so that's a pre-workout.
Sorry, say that again.
We both work out, right? So banana is a part of our diet, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you can say that it has good nutrients and also it's fun,
Yeah.
and everybody gets emotional when they say somebody says banana. Hey, Sim. Hi, Sarah Banana. All right. So before jumping into agents, why are they important? Anybody in the audience can say something about agents. What do you think? Why are they important? Everybody's talking about agents, about copilots, which is kind of a variation of agents. I mean, a copilot at the end is an agent that will always interact with a user and ask the user what he wants to do and try to do it.
For me, generally speaking, agent is someone who's expert in one thing and can get the job done pretty fast or
Yeah,
accurately. For me, that's what an agent is.
yes, more or less, yes. You give it the tools, and he more or less will try to use the tools with the model that it has, right? Either is
Hmm.
OpenAI, either is Llama, either is Phi, or whatever, right? But what makes agents powerful is their ability to collaborate between them. So there's a paper called Self-Refine, which is basically adding the self-refinement to the same agent or model, right? So basically, I do something and ask, hey, Jose, is that good? Let's think about that again, right? And I do that 2 or 3 times. I mean, the theory is that this will generate some self-feedback and I will get better, and it simply happens, right? So, but not that much. It's kind of a 6%. This is for GCMAK, which is, I think, general school math for a benchmark for general school math. But yeah, and then there are other things which it's also the improvement is a bit better, but it's not that spectacular, but quite good. Depends on where we apply it, right? So it's up to 27% in GPT 3.5, GPT 4 reach like in one case on dialogue response 49, which is cool. But this slide that I stole completely from Andy NG. Andy NG did a fantastic talk about agents. If anybody is interested here, look, search for Andy NG agents and watch that video. I think it's 10 to 15 minutes. So basically, GPT 3.5 in the benchmark of human able is a benchmark of coding, right? Which is something that, sorry, we believe GPTs or models don't do that well. Well, think again after I tell you this. This is the zero shot, which is under 50. And with this workflow, which you have two agents, one is the coder, and the other is the critic. So it analyzes the code, tells you, hey, this is not clean, this is good, you can improve here. It gets to 96% of
Wow,
accuracy. And in GPT-4, it gets like 97%.
that's pretty
And
cool.
I think, yeah, it's pretty cool. So
Oh yeah, I know
100.
your prompts are pretty good in ChatGPT before you use it. I know that. You did share your secrets.
uh, yeah, no problem with that. I mean, at the end, we have to survive together in this AI revolution, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of the reasons I joined, started to do that. So plugins, I showed this code. Uh, so I'm going to jump a bit that part. No. So I'm going to jump to the code, right?
Mhm.
And I'm going to unwrap this, which I have agents example, which, I mean, this is very, very basic. So I'm not going to do an advanced model. If you are interested or the audience is interested, we could do a session on agents, which would take a bit longer, right?
Yeah.
Also, things are changing on agents. So maybe it's something for after summer. I don't know. But yeah, you can see here, I have a program. I create this agent and then execute it. It's a pattern that I particularly like. I disable the warning because the agents are experimental at the moment in Semantic Kernel. I create a list of agents to clean them up later. And then I do the same. I create a GPT-4o. Yeah, I think it's big enough. Let me make it smaller. Here I have the minion agent that I showed before, right? So it's basically name, a template format. I give him instructions. These are the instructions. This is basically, by the way, the same as giving a system prompt to the chat. System prompt is when you start a conversation with a chat and you can configure the chat in the administrator mode, you can tell it this or by code. And a description. Then I load everything and I simply create the agent. And with the agent, I'm simply create a thread. This is for the instance API. A thread needs to be created to hold a conversation. In this case, the conversation will be between me, well, and the agent. And anything that the audience want to tell the agent, I will rely. So I will be as a human proxy, right? And then I have a loop that when I say exit, it will say banana and finish. And then it will simply invoke the agent's thread, sending to the minion agent the user message. That's simple. And of course, display the message because we need to print it. So without further ado, I'm going to click on play. But before, any question from the audience? Any wish?
No, I just hope there's no any more demo demon.
All right, then let's go on. And let me check the cursor to the left side of this. Oh no, I will continue.
So how is this demo different? In this demo, you have a plugin, right? That's what you say. No, it's taking the prompts from the user.
I don't care about this plugin. I have an agent. So the one
Okay.
responding, so I have kind of a chat loop with the agent. So I'm talking to the
Okay.
agent. In this case, a minion, the minion you saw at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't give it a banana yet. Mhm. Banana, how you?
Good.
Net show. Yeah, it's Friday. I'm in the Dash of the Net show. Let's see what he says. Oh, Friday fun pomatico impressivo banana.
So,
Yes.
so this question coming up from the comments is, how does the agent handle context? Do you have to provide it with the history of the conversation so far?
No, that is done by the agent's API. So it's handled by them. So it's a lot
Mhm.
easier to code. So we don't have to add that to the chat context as we have to do with the chat completion API. Does this answer your call, Perrosing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious to how good it works. I mean, It's really surprising that it works so nicely.
I'm here with Simon. Want to say something to him? Yeah, I think it's cool, and
Yeah.
AI can be fun. I mean, they have humor, or they mimic it very well. For the purists, right? So let's see what it says to you. I'm making it a bit bigger
Yeah,
so
that
people can
helps.
read. Sorry about that. I'm an inconsiderate. Come on, tell something to Simon.
Well, your agent already hates me.
Uh, Bello Simon Tulaliro ti amo. Oh, he says he loves you. Want to say
Why does
something
it?
to?
Why does your agent keep saying banana in every statement?
Yeah, I told him to use Minionis, and Minions use a lot of banana. I think I
Oh,
somehow told him to use banana a bit, and I like to hear it. So yes.
oh.
What do you want to tell him?
I will say I would like to have some banana shake.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's fun.
So what's happening? So when you press that, okay, you get what's actually happening when you press that
Yeah.
enter? What is happening behind the scenes?
Yeah. Basically, it's doing this agent thread invoke async, right, with the user
Hmm.
message. So this is
Okay,
then managed by the agent and sent to the agent API, which has been set up with this agent. Yeah.
okay.
Banana shake with protein powder. Yeah, that's a good
But
idea.
that's what it replied.
No, no, no. It's what Sim did
I was like,
in the chat.
okay,
Which
that's very relevant. I was like, wow,
I
that's
think
too
we're getting
relevant.
hungry.
Okay,
Let's finish
Sean
this.
says banana shake with protein powder. Yeah.
Uh, no, 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 no. Responding to Shin, I'm using Azure OpenAI. The model is not running locally. I'm
Mm,
using the one from Azure OpenAI. So yes, that's it. I could run one locally, but not for agents because, as far as I understand, agent API, sorry, the assistance API, that's the proper name, is not supported.
I see.
Um, want to say something to the audience? Happy smiling and banana for everyone.
Tonight I'm gonna dream about banana.
See you. Let's be kind. So thank you, Popeye. Haha, banana. Okay. All right.
That's
So
so cool.
yes, I think it's fun. It's interesting. It's a whole new world, and Semantic Kernel brings this power to your fingertips. At the moment, implementations of agents are quite interesting, but still limited. So other implementations are a bit more advanced, but it will get here. So let's move to the presentations. And yeah, I hope this was interesting. I leave some resources, right? So Microsoft Learn for Semantic Kernel, GitHub, Microsoft Semantic Kernel. So one of the most important things is to go to the GitHub and look at the code. The code does not lie, and it's pretty well done. And then there's a Discord, which you can capture here. It's pretty interesting. I'm there every now and then. And also there's some discussions. So if you have some technical issue, here is the place to say this is mostly user support and this is their support. Or you can go and create a ticket in or an issue in GitHub if you try that. And the other thing is this is a course that I did in LinkedIn. Some people like it and say good things about it. I think it's 4.5 hours, gets you through a lot of things, including agents. And yeah, I'll leave that here. And that aside, I'm happy to respond any question anybody may have.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm curious about this And in one of your previous slides that we see, you had a Discord invite. What was that? Was it about this session or it was something else? You had a Discord
Uh,
invite link.
yeah, it was a Discord invite link. Yes,
Yeah, I'm
this
curious
is
about that.
the Semantic Kernel Discord. So they have a
Oh, they have
very,
a
very
dedicated
big
Discord for
community.
it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I think everyone should join that if they want to get into discussions
Yeah.
other than GitHub.
The only thing is there's a bit of a spam sometimes,
I
but I
see.
think it's also fun to talk with other people there, and I think it's quite cool to be able to talk about things openly. But for a downside, the semantic kernel team does not go into there, is not supporting that, so they act only when you put something in uh, GitHub.
I get
So
it.
yeah,
And is there, I mean, I see there's a learn.microsoft.com. I know they've changed the URL from docs to learn.microsoft.com now. But do they have a learn course? Because last time I checked, they did not have a learn course.
yeah, they have
They have,
I think this is the
they,
documentation, the learnmicrosoft.com.
yeah.
They have some small courses,
Mm-hmm.
um, which some of them are quite good. I don't like the agent one, so I gave sorry, the I gave a bit the feedback to the team that the agents
Mm-hmm.
really, you are not building an agent properly, say it right. So they are
Okay.
not using the agents API for that. But aside these two courses, I think they are pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's nice. So what's next, Jose? You know, I mean, I know we saw a command line application today, right? Can you give us a few examples where more people can use it in your other than MVC application or something? I know, but
Yeah,
where
you can
can
use it. You
yeah?
can use it anywhere. I mean, technically, you could connect to the API of your Azure DevOps, review
Mm-hmm.
the issues, and respond automatically, or try to generate the code or implement what would be try to implement the code and try it using maybe on this I would use a agent workflow, right? I would create two agents, one to write code, another that reviews the code, tests it, and gives feedback to the other agent until it builds and it does everything that is written in the GitHub issue. um, yeah,
Okay.
I think it will depend on the model that you are using,
Yeah.
but if you put these, it will not deploy or give the response until the code is completely done and it has uh, passed the quality filters, for
I see.
example.
So
So that's powerful combination that you can do, and we will get there that we end up working with a virtual team of developers.
yeah, I think semantic kernel is still pretty new to this ecosystem, right? We're still getting there. Having said that,
Yes,
I suppose we could also do with Blazor, right? We could also work with Blazor and semantic kernel. Yeah.
anywhere you can
Yeah.
deploy .NET and run .NET,
Mm-hmm.
you can use semantic kernel everywhere.
Okay, that's nice. That's I
Yeah,
think pretty nice way to get started and build your own like
yeah.
chatbots or
For
something.
example, there is an example of Dilmer Vallecillos using .NET to connect to an LLM and create elements in virtual reality. For example, I think that is even from last year.
Mm, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Okay, what else do we have to discuss? We already had 44 minutes. Time passed very quickly. I didn't realize it.
yeah. I went quite quick, so not really too much more today to show. um, I think it's a cool technology. And if you
Yeah.
are a .NET developer, you should be getting into generative AI right now because it takes a while. So it takes me a while to have a certain level of understanding of what I I do and what I can, and it takes time to really understand what it can really do for you and your career, of course, right?
Time.
So, and if you want to do proper business applications as well. So this is one of the key values of semantic kernel. It is meant to do business applications. Recently, in the last build, like few weeks ago, they released a couple of features like integration with Aspire. Aspire is no longer experimental. It's a product. It's supported. You can deploy it in production, right? So you can author and monitor your different services and how do they work. and and that is very very powerful. And you can wrap and get these decisions and create your own agents or copilots or autonomous tools that decide what they have to do. So it's no longer kind of coding is separated from AI. So every now and then, any application that we do probably will have a big deal of AI on it. That are my insights.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is the right time to get into this Gen AI. Otherwise, as I said, it does take a while. All the things are with all these APIs, OpenAI and Azure and Microsoft helping literally you with everything, all these resources. You can still pace it up. But yeah, I think this is the right time as a developer. I think this is the exciting time to be a developer. On top of that, all this OpenAI, Gen AI, this makes your life pretty cool. Let's see what we
Yeah,
have. Friend, there's a question from the
confirm.
comments. What are the costs, say, of a banana talk with the agent? How can the cost that the usage of an agent or SK incurs be estimated?
That's a
I
very
don't
good
know.
question.
Yeah.
Uh, you have on the response as well a complex object, and inside it are the tokens used. Input tokens, output tokens, so you can infer that. So yes, you can you can know how much is
Hmm.
that costing to you. Yes, that can be done.
Okay. Thanks for asking the
Also,
question, friendship.
yeah, that's good. Also, they have implemented a layer of traceability as well, so you have observability incorporated. I think soon we will have OpenTelemetry. I have not yet played with the Azure bits, but yep, I'm one of the things I would like to try this weekend with Microsoft Aspire.
Okay, that's pretty cool. If there's not any more comments, and then we'll just wrap it up. I think so. Anything else you gotta add, Jose, before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, sure. I already mentioned I did a course. It took me a
Yeah.
while, but if anybody wants to jump into it, I cannot but recommend it. I think it's covering all the fundamentals. It tries also to shape everything with metaphors like the orchestra, um, that the plugins are the instruments, that the musicians are the AI models or agents. So I think it's pretty fitting, and it's plenty of with examples. So if anybody is curious, I recommend it. Maybe you can jump first and see if you like the technology first to the Microsoft Learn models to them. They are not bad. And then if you like this technology, then jump into the course, which is a bit more advanced. It gets you. And at the end, I'm building a very advanced example, which is a researcher system that uses complex prompting to, and also a plugin which does a web search. The web search I'm using, I think Bing search service from Azure,
Mhm.
and gets the result and summarizes and creates a report for the end user, which is kind of a advanced thing that it usually you do a lot of research, and it takes time, and this can be completely automated for you. Mm.
That sounds pretty,
So,
pretty good course. And all this in just about 4.5 hours, right?
sorry.
All this in just about in 4.5 hours course.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's not 40 hours like others, but
Yeah,
I try
I
to
think
put it as
that's
lean
pretty
as
cool.
possible.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like the
I would,
projects that you discussed.
if it was 40 hours, I would have to have left my job. And yeah, honestly, I don't want that.
Yeah, yeah, no, we don't want that. It's all for the community. No one's
Already,
making
I
money here.
stopped the
Yeah,
screen sharing. Uh,
yeah. All right. In that case, thank you so much, Jose, and thanks for putting this show on .NET Theory, kind of this season of AI going on. So thanks also for that, for putting everything together. It was a great presentation. Loved it. Some great demos, right? With demo demons, as always. They're a part of the show. Having said that, I'll see you in some other episodes. We have many other events and coming up. Anything you want to add to the users who are watching from your user group?
sure,
I
I
mean, is
will.
there anything you want to add and say to the users who are joining from your user group?
Yeah, so thanks for being there. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure to be here. Also, thank to you, Simon, for organizing and having me on your show. And yeah, anytime. It was really fun. It's an amazing to be hosted by you. It's an
Uh,
honor. It is. and it was a lot of fun, which
Yeah,
I think these things have to be fun, right? Because we
yeah,
do that
exactly.
on our own time for free. So we
That's right.
learn, we
That's
grow,
important.
and we laugh.
Yeah,
Until
love is
next time.
important.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you some other episodes. Take care. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.